Hello everyone, this is American Contractor again. Today is still December 21st, 2019. Normally I would talk about Iraq and what's going on in the Middle East, but something that's popped up on my radar here and there's something I want to talk about also that's pretty important. The headline here is U.S. braces for major North Korean weapons test as Trump's diplomacy fizzles. This is from the Asia World. It's been published no more than 9 minutes ago. December 21st, 2019. The American military and intelligence officials tracking North Korea's actions by the hour say they are bracing for an imminent test of an intercontinental ballistic missile capable of reaching American shores, but appear resigned to the fact that President Trump has no good options to stop it. If North Korea goes ahead with the test in the coming days, Pyongyang promised a Christmas gift if no progress had been made on lifting sanctions. It would be a glaring setback for Mr. Trump's boldest foreign policy initiative, even as he faces an impeachment trial at home. American officials are playing down the missile threat through a similar test 2 years ago, prompted Mr. Trump to suggest that fire and fury and perhaps a war could result. Mr. Trump often cites the suspension of long-range missile and underground nuclear tests for the past 2 years as evidence that his leader-to-leader diplomacy with North Korea was working and that such negotiating skills would persuade the North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un, to give his arsenal. The administration argument has now changed. Should Mr. Kim resume tests, American officials say it will be a sign that he truly feels jammed, and has concluded Washington will not lift crushing sanction on his impoverished nation anytime soon. Just go down here in this next paragraph here. Military officials say there are no plans to try to destroy a missile on the launch pad or intercept it in the atmosphere. Steps both George W. Bush and Barack Obama considered and rejected. It is unclear if the military cyber command is still trying to sabotage the launches from afar, as it did under the Obama administration, with mixed results. Instead, officials say if North resumes its missile tests, the Trump administration will turn to allies and again lobby the United Nations Security Council for tightened sanctions, a strategy that has been tried for 2 decades. Beneath the recent threats is the onset of a cold reality. In the 18 months after Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim first met in Singapore with declarations of warmth not seen since the suspension of the Korean War in 1953, the North has bolstered its arsenal of missiles and its stockpile of bomb-ready nuclear material. Now estimates from a leading authority suggest that Mr. Kim has expanded his arsenal substantially since Mr. Trump announced on Twitter after Singapore that there is no longer a nuclear threat from North Korea. Siegfried Hecker, the former head of the Los Alamos National Laboratory and one of the few Westerners who has seen the North uranium production facility, says he believes the country has fuel for about 38 warheads, well beyond an earlier low-end estimate that he and other scientists had intelligence analysts had issued. In recent weeks, the North has considered ground tests of what appear to be a new missile engines that Pyongyang said would bolster its nuclear deterrent, suggesting that it has little intention of giving up its ability. I think part of this may be bluff on their part, John R. Bolton, the former national security advisor, said to NPR on Thursday. They think the president's desperate for a deal, and if they put an artificial time constraint on it, they may think they're going to get a better deal. We'll just have to wait and see. But he noted this is all part of the North Korean playbook. A new element to this playbook could be that Mr. Kim calculated that impeachment has weakened Mr. Trump, making him more desperate for a policy victory. Senior foreign policy officials and military commanders are bracing for perhaps the most serious cycle of crisis yet. What I would expect is some kind of long-range ballistic missile would be the gift, General Charles Q. Brown Jr., commander of the Pacific Air Forces, said Tuesday. Does it come on Christmas Eve? Does it come on Christmas Day? Does it come after the New Year? One of my responsibilities is to pay attention to that. With no diplomatic progress between Washington and Pyongyang Pyongyang since the implosion of the last summit in February between Mr. Trump and Mr. Kim in Hanoi, Vietnam. Administration officials are loath to see Mr. Trump leap into another face-to-face negotiation. While Mr. Trump's initial diplomatic outreach to Mr. Kim raises hopes and generated positive headlines, the president accepted vague language calling for a denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula as an ironclad commitment by the North to rid itself of its own weapons. And you can go on and read this article. It's a pretty long article as I'm going through here. Mr. Trump contemplated attacking North Korea early in the administration when officials floated the idea of a bloody nose. This is not good, folks. If they launch a missile, intercontinental missile will reach the United States. I'm not saying they're going to attack the United States, but, it's another country that makes a lot of threats. So just go ahead and read this article. I'll have the link below. And if you like this video, like it below, make a comment, subscribe to the channel. When important things like this start happening, and I'm going to start talking about it on my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.